What is up? So today is going to be some arm day. We're going to go freaking wild on the triceps, biceps. I did shoulders yesterday, so we're gonna, keep that on the wayside for maybe another day or two. I would definitely say shoulders is my most quote unquote overtrained body part, because my shoulders don't really get sore. They might be sore, a little sore, but in terms of actually getting, very sore, legs, after a crazy freaking leg day, shoulders just aren't going to be getting that sore. I don't know if that's just me or if that's a common thing amongst the lifting community, but shoulders, they just don't get sore. Now biceps and triceps, it's kind of they'll get kind of sore, but not necessarily as sore as legs. So I woke up today, was kind of feeling around, sometimes you can kind of squeeze the muscle a little bit and get a gauge, right? Of if it's still sore or not. And a lot of the times with biceps, you can kind of or for me at least, I can feel the kind of the bottom sector closer to the tendon. And if you squeeze it a little bit and you're getting a little bit of tenderness, that probably means it's still sore. Today I was feeling around, kind of flexing a little bit, and I'm feeling fresh. I'm feeling good. So I was like, all right, it was either going to be a leg day or an arm day. And I feel like I've been doing quite a bit of leg days. So I think maybe tomorrow will be leg day, or tomorrow might be back day. We'll see. And then I'll do a leg day, because I did a back day before leg day. But I'm just feeling arms today, man. You know what I mean? And that kind of goes back to the thing where it's whatever you enjoy doing the most is kind of what you should be doing, right? If let's say you're supposed to do a freaking leg day one day, but you're man, my arms feel great and I really want to do an arm day, just do an arm day. You know what I mean? There's always going to be a leg day in the future that you can do, right? Now, obviously, don't skip leg day. At some point during the freaking week, hit legs, but generally it's whatever's going to make you happiest is probably what you should do. And now, don't get me wrong, leg days do suck, but it is what it is, man. We all want to, just get it done and over with, right? Just get it done and over with. And at the end of the day, if you do a really crazy leg day, you're going to feel freaking good about it, because you just accomplished something freaky, and it just, there's no really downside. You got past something that you're not necessarily going to love doing, but you did it anyways, right? There's some credence to that. There's something to it where even though you don't love, trust me, I don't necessarily love a leg day, but I mean, it has its moments, right? You could be doing some crazy hack squats. You could be on your 11 to 12 set and you're God dang, I feel like a freaking beast right now. And you're just running off a straight freaking adrenaline, and you're just pumping out reps, and you don't even know where these freaking reps are coming from, because you're in so much freaking discomfort just from doing these sets. But anyways, I'm gonna go back to the roots, right? Just if you're watching this and you don't go to the gym, just freaking get in there. You know what I mean? About a year and a half ago, I would have never even guessed I would be here right now, where I'm going to the gym almost every freaking day. It all happened kind of spontaneously. What happened was I was on my phone and I saw that Planet Fitness was having a discount. It was I think it was $15 or something like that per month. It was the black card. And I was like, shoot, man, I'm not doing anything else. I have this extra time in my day. Let me go ahead and get a gym membership, right? And so bought the gym membership, started going. And as I started going, I was like, man, I'm gonna freaking get there, right? I'm gonna get swole, right? Because in my head, I never imagined being the type of person to want to get big or want to get swole or want to get muscular or whatever. But then once you started going, you're dang, I'm doing something that no one else is freaking doing, I'm sure a lot of you guys have a friend circle, right? How many of them go to the gym every single day, or almost every single day? How many of them really have a routine, right? First off, you want to do it for yourself, obviously, but at the same time, it's pretty cool being the one dude with some decent muscle mass, you know what I mean? There's not really any downside, and plus the health benefits, I mean, they freaking go on forever, right? And you could pretty much, you know, you could pretty much go to the freaking gym 2 or 3 times a week, and boom, you're gonna look way freakier than you did before. You're you know, especially if you go hard. You could do the Mike Mincer freaking HIT, train super hard for 2 or 3 days a week, and you're gonna have crazy freaking results compared to zero, right? Compared to not going at all, never going. You know, and it's just kind of one of those things you have to like, just, even if it's a day where you don't feel like going, you gotta freaking get up and go, because you know, every single one of you guys know that if you go to the gym and you have a crazy workout, you're gonna feel better than if you don't do it. And imagine, right? There's tons of people that have great genetics, but they don't necessarily show it until they start going to the gym. Imagine you have freaking Ronnie Coleman's genetics. You might have a little bit of muscle mass, right? Like you might just be naturally a little muscular, but you're never gonna know your true potential unless you actually like step foot in there and you start going, right? And I'm not saying you have to look like Ronnie Coleman. I'm just saying, even when Ronnie Coleman was natural, he looked freaky, right? Like he looked fantastic. Like I feel like most people, they don't necessarily want to be competitive bodybuilders, right? I don't know what I want to be. I don't know if bodybuilding would even be in my cards, if I even have the correct genetics for it. I think I have decent genetics for like putting on muscle, but you know, I don't know if I actually have the correct shape or whatever. But regardless, it's like, no matter who you are, you could be a freaking desk job, somebody answering phone calls all day, but if you have a ripped physique, you're going to generally feel better about yourself every day. Whereas if you go into the mirror and you look, you know, you have a freaking bubble gut from eating too many donuts or something, like you're not going to feel good about yourself, right? Like I've been to, you know, if you watch my one video where it's like my transformation, it's like I was there. I did not look good for the longest freaking time. It was probably a couple of years or something. But at some point you got to lock in. Have freaking today be the day that you lock in. Why not? Why why not? You're gonna feel better about yourself if you're at a point where like you're like so big that you can't imagine, you know, like even looking good down the line. It's like, think about the future, right? Like you're gonna look 10 times better with that weight off. You're gonna feel probably even exponentially better than that, just in terms of like health and stuff, right? And then at some point, if you have like some crazy loose skin, right, like it's not the end of the world, right? You can get that surgically removed. Like it's not, just get in the gym, no matter who you are, what size you are. Even if you feel like, you know, you're down in the trenches, it's like going to the gym, that's going to bring you one step higher, right? You might not be out of the trenches immediately, but you know what? You're freaking climbing your way back up from this hole that you dug. And that was me. It took time. It took like dedication to freaking going. And I've only been going for like 4.5 months. We're like right at around 5 months, something like that. And my gains have been freaking crazy. So if you have just like a general build, right? Like if you have like the just average type of physique, you just going to the gym and going crazy and going hard, in like 4 to 5 months, those newbie gains, you're gonna be like blown away, right? For the first the first 2 or 3 months, it's almost like taking steroids or something, because your muscles are they're not expecting you to be in the gym going freaky on them, so they like have to overcompensate for what you're doing to them, right? After a while, your muscles get used to lifting the heavy weights, and so they don't respond as aggressively to what you're doing. But those first couple of months, that's why it's so important, in my opinion, to really utilize that time. Lift heavy, do what you can do, and go freaking crazy, because your muscles are going to overcompensate, and you're going to get a crazy amount of progress in a very short amount of time. Now, don't get me wrong, it's definitely going to slow down as time goes on, because like I said, your muscles get used to that. So oh good Lord. I really need these people to hurry up. But anyways, your muscles get used to that. So you're not gonna gain as much size, especially if you stay natural or whatever. But if you're like, wondering how if you're in your mind, you're like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna get great results or whatever. I'm telling you, like, yeah, let's say you're a newbie lifter, right? And you're trained to mild discomfort. Yeah, you probably won't get what you freaking want. You're not gonna get that dream physique. You're not gonna get, but if you go in there and you are going crazy, I'm talking like way past mild discomfort to failure, right? If you go to failure every time, like, you're gonna grow. You're gonna grow. Even if, like, let's say your biceps or triceps aren't fully recovered from your last workout, right? As long as you're not like lifting so heavy you're gonna tear a tendon or something, you're still gonna grow because you have those newbie gains. Your muscle is trying to your body's trying to overcompensate and repair, like, as fast as it freaking can. And, not that it doesn't when you're like an experienced lifter, but it's like you're just giving that shock to the muscle. And obviously make sure your diet's correct, get some protein shakes in, get some freaking, get some chicken, beef, like whatever, protein source. And obviously make sure you're eating carbs too, because if you're, when you're a newbie lifter, you want to, like I said, you want to take advantage of everything you possibly can. Unless you're some absurd body fat percentage, don't necessarily go on some crazy cut, right? Like, for me, when I was doing the 2 protein shakes a day and like a meal in the middle of that, I was naturally losing weight, but I was still putting on muscle because of my newbie gains. Like, I can't confidently say that a year and a half from now I could do the same thing and I'd still be putting on muscle as a natural. But for me, I was still putting on muscle consistently, and it was almost like I was looking bigger because my body fat percentage was going down, so you could see the muscles better. So my whole thing is, if you're a dude, I don't care who you are. I don't care, like, what you're doing. Everyone has a little bit of time in the day. They need to go to the freaking gym, right? And you don't have to be some crazy lifter, okay? I'm not saying if you want to train to mild discomfort, that's fine. That's 100% better than not going at all, right? You don't have to have the craziest, freakiest legs. I know a lot of people don't really care about legs that much, but you probably, you're going to look a little funky if you have, like, tiny little legs and a freaking relatively muscular upper body, especially if you go to the, like, pool, you're going to look a little weird. So I do recommend definitely getting some leg days in, okay? But you don't have to go crazy with it, right? Let's say you're the type of, you want to do a leg day every 2 weeks, like, whatever, you're still getting it in, that's fine. But, if you're like the type of person that wants to get in there, get crazy results in a very, it obviously takes dedication. It's not going to be instant, right? But if you want to get freaky results, 4 to 5 months, 4, 5, 6 months, and you go freaking to failure all the time, and you're killing it, you're the next day you're like, good Lord, my body's aching. That's a good sign right there, right? There's been days where my legs, chest, arms, back, everything's sore. So that's how you know you're doing something right? You don't want to, I don't know, it's just like maximize your time, And once the workout's done, even though it might have freaking been crazy and hard, I mean, first off, you're going to be getting that endorphin release, okay? You're going to be feeling pretty, there are so many times where I have gone into the gym and I'm feeling freaking, like, great. Just from that, like, just from the endorphin release. Like, it's almost like taking a painkiller. You feel great, So you're like, that's kind of the thing. You're gonna feel great after the gym. That's just how it is. Your day is gonna be better. Who doesn't want their day to be better? And you're gonna be more, you're getting all the benefits. Come on now. And not to mention, you could have freaky genetics and not even know it. Because if you don't lift and you look in the mirror, regardless of who you are, you could have the craziest genetics on planet Earth, unless you have like regardless, you could have the craziest genetics on planet Earth and not look that freaky in the mirror because you just don't do anything. But once you step foot in that gym, even if, like, once you step foot in that gym, you're gonna start looking freaking crazy, right? I don't care who and if you're not seeing any results, okay, odds are you need to train harder. If you're not seeing the results that you want, you probably need to go a little bit harder. You're probably not, I'll see people in the gym and they'll have like a binder, right? These guys, and they might do like they have a very strict regimen. They do like 3 sets of 8 at a lightweight. Come on, man. Like, you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna grow. Do not stick to some schedule. Go like a lot of the gym is winging it. You really gotta like wing it, get in there. Do some crazy sets. Like, do multiple sets. Like I've said in my other videos, like, I'll get in there, I'll get on bench press, I'll do like freaking 8 sets. Like, I am not, like, that's just me though. Some people, they like to really switch it up. They like to do multiple different workouts, which is fine. Like Sam Sulik's kind of like that. Like, he'll do like 1 set, move to something else, do like 1 or 2, 3 sets, move to something else. But for me, I just go crazy on whatever machine I'm feeling. Like, whatever I'm feeling, whatever my muscle is feeling, that's the machine. I'm like, okay, this is clearly working for me today. I'm just gonna and that's not to say, I mean, normally I do like 3 different types of workouts, right? To get that, like, just to switch it up. You know what I mean? It's gonna hit the muscle a little bit differently. Some chest exercises might hit the outer chest. Some, you might get a really crazy squeeze. It might, like, hit the whole chest, including like the upper and stuff. So you obviously want to have some, like, I guess, like, divergence or whatever the word would be for that. But obviously you want to have some variety, right? But yeah, just get in there, go freaking crazy. Like I can tell you right now, if you went to the gym, let's say it was a chest day, and you got on bench press or chest press or anything, even a machine, if you did like 10 sets and every single one of them was pretty much to failure and you left, that's going to be pretty freaky. Like, you're like, that next day, I can promise you, you're going to be sore, especially if you've only been in the gym for a couple of months. So yeah, take with that what you will. I think I'm going to definitely record some stuff in there. So I'll see y'all in a second. very solid arm day. I did not record triceps, unfortunately, but the Planet Fitness was freaking bumping. It was so busy. So I just got some, obviously recorded, doing biceps and everything. I did do a little more than what I recorded. Stopped recording, and I think I went back, tried to do some more like dumbbell curls, and man, they just were not happening. They were cooked, definitely cooked. So, but as far as triceps, all I did was a tricep push.
At the light, turn right.
Oops, my bad. Anyways, tricep push downs with the bar, and then just like the rope, right? Like the tricep rope pull downs. So very simple sort of exercise, just kind of freaking rep that out, did like I don't even know how many sets, probably at least like 12 sets of triceps, maybe 13, something like that. And then biceps, same thing. I mean, whole goal is to freaking stimulate the muscle, right? Like, it doesn't really matter how you do it. It doesn't matter, like, that's the thing, is like, if one workout is working really good for you, if you're feeling it in that muscle, just why not do more sets of that, right? Like, if you're cooking if you're cooking the muscle, then it's gonna grow. Now, like I was saying earlier, obviously, you want to have some sort of, like deviation, I guess, in terms of like which workouts you do, because like, I guess doing the same thing over and over again can get a little boring. So, and sometimes, right, you'll find a workout that like you've never done before, and you're like, wow, like I've been missing out. This clearly, this has some credence for a freaking reason, right? And that happened to me with, I'm being a bad influence here, but that happened to me when, what was it? When it was like the dumbbell pulls or whatever for the back. I was doing those, and I was like, wow, I did not expect this to like really stimulate my back area. But didn't exactly sound right. But regardless, it did, right? So now that's like a regular part of my routine. So yeah, tomorrow, back, gonna obviously decimate. Come on now, what are we here for? But yeah, I mean, feeling good, was feeling pretty strong today, except for, well, actually, I was feeling strong, but not like, I don't know, those 40-pound dumbbells are feeling pretty heavy doing those curls. So that's why I kind of put those back to the 35s. Was able to kind of more effectively rep them out, right? And you want to, you want to like gauge your strength, where like you can do like a good, 6, 7, 8 reps per bicep, right? So I'll count, up to like whatever. I don't really count, I just kind of go to failure, but I have like a good rough estimation of like, okay, I want to like get towards maybe like 7 to 8 reps. Boom. And then triceps are like weird. It's not like sometimes you're at failure, but you can just barely, like really dig deep and just push 1 or 2 more out. So that's kind of how I was feeling today. But the ropes were feeling good. Yeah, freaking great workout. Y'all saw the pump afterwards. I will say, not too happy with the body fat percentage, right? Like, come on now. I mean, what in the world? But that's kind of been something I've always struggled with. So, for me, it's kind of a little easier to probably put on some muscle, right? But it's a little more difficult for me to really lose body fat to get that 6-pack showing. I've actually never had a 6-pack. So definitely gonna, one thing I'm gonna add into my little regimen is definitely like 30 minutes of cardio bike, work it up, right? Because I don't want to like, I don't know, it's all about like working your way up to stuff, right? Like if you went to the gym and you tried to freaking bench press 225 and you fail, it's gonna kind of be demotivating, right? But if you start off easy, like on a weight you can handle, and you start repping it out, you'll start to like kind of get a little hyped up. You're like, okay, now I really want to like build myself up to this weight, like. So anyways, gonna add like 30 minutes of cardio bike into my little regimen. probably, work it up to 45. But generally, really want to get my body fat percentage down. It's, thing is, I don't think I have great ab genetics, can't lie, because I feel like a lot of people at my body fat percentage right now would probably have some sort of visible abs. So unfortunately, I think I was kind of like not given that genetic gift, so I really have to like work on that. Abs right now are super sore because yesterday did weighted ab crunches, and then I even actually worked obliques, right, with the like twisting machine, and that was decent, right? It was decent. I don't want to work obliques too much because that can kind of like, you can kind of develop that blocky sort of look, and that's definitely not my ideal physique, right? Like I do not want to look like, I don't even know what I'd compare it to, but it's just where your obliques are just like a brick, like you look like a brick. So yeah, just really trying to like build my abs up because I think I'm riding off of like the unfortunate effects of when I was younger, and even recently, like last couple of years, I gained a lot of weight. So just getting rid of these fat cells is going to be a challenge, but I can do it. It's just kind of a rough road, like no one loves being freaking hungry, right? Like no one, especially after the gym. Come on now, like 99% of us are gonna be damn starving, right? So, but it's all about, I guess like what you're eating, right? Obviously, it's gonna be like, yeah, calories are calories, but if you eat, in my opinion, right? Let's say you have 400 calories of chicken versus 300 calories of freaking mashed potatoes. What's going to be more effective at building muscle, right? Like what has a higher chance of going straight to the fat versus, you know what I mean? Your body's going to partition what it needs accordingly. And if you're giving it too much like carbs or whatever, it's going to be broken down a lot differently than something like protein, where, protein can obviously be stored as fat, but your body has to work a little harder to really like turn that protein into a fat. So, like just take with that what you will or whatever, but in my opinion, I really don't think 300 calories of freaking cake and 300 calories of like, freaking roast beef or something is going to be any sort of like, they're not really comparable because your body's going to obviously want to utilize like, depending on the like profile, right? Your body's going to want to partition that stuff to different areas because it's like a different type of, it's just different, So obviously, trying to stay high protein shakes, very important, very easy to make, very convenient, and they generally keep you full, right? They're not going to make you like, it's not going to be like eating a meal, okay? You're not going to be sitting there like, oh my God, I'm so freaking stuffed. You might for like a couple of minutes, and then after that, you kind of get this like comfortable sort of fullness where you're not overly full, but you're also not necessarily hungry either. So yeah, but freaking great arm day. Feel super, like I'm about to go straight home, down a freaking protein shake. I got some chicken, a little bit of rice, eating that, and then probably gonna actually in a little bit have another protein shake because I missed my first one, which is why after the gym today I was so freaking, oh my God, I was starving. So, but yeah, working on getting my body fat percentage a little lower because obviously right now, not exactly ideal, but, I think we all struggle with that from time to time. So, but generally, kind of, this will be my last point, but when you first start working out, which I'm still very new, right? I've only been in the gym for like 5 months. That's nothing. There are people out there that have been in the gym for 30 years. Like, come on. I'm still kind of riding my little newbie gain phase. So, I don't want to go on too crazy of a cut while I'm still utilizing like this time. It just is like counterintuitive. And I'm not at such a high body fat percentage that it's like uncomfortable or I feel like I look terrible by any means. That's not, I don't feel like I look horrible, but I don't have a six pack. But I would like to get a gauge of what my body fat percentage really is. I would say probably around like 20, right? Like maybe 18 to 20. But hopefully getting some of these ab crunches in, I can start to see a little bit, a little bit of the lines and stuff, but really not enough to like even say I have any type of abdominal like, you know, it's not really being shown off, unfortunately. But, you know, it is what it is. At least my stomach is generally flat, right? That's like, in my opinion, having a flat stomach is significantly better than having any sort of like bulgy stomach. So, you know, decent. So, yeah, hopefully you guys, you know, like this video or whatever. It's kind of like one of my first times really like getting some of this, you know, workout on video. I'm gonna, you know, work my way up to really like recording everything, right? But yeah, tomorrow's back day, so hopefully my gym, Planet Fitness, won't be closed. Today they were. I had to go all the way to a different Planet Fitness that's open for 24 hours, so I think that's why the gym was so packed. Everyone that goes to their regular Planet Fitness had to be dispersed to this one. So, but yeah, overall though, great workout. Hopefully you guys got in there too. Come on now, everyone. Let's get up. Go to the gym. If you're watching this video right now, right after this, freaking go. Right? If you haven't gone already. Come on now. All right, y'all. See ya.